Let's go back to the early games, and Robin Roberts kept her eye on the, well, you did keep your eye on the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys. New era for the Browns. Dallas, though, they may have something.
Yeah, they're really coming. Jimmy Johnson has gotten this team good in a hurry, but we'll talk about the Browns first. They gave up a league-high 462 points last season. Now, maybe that's part of the reason they got Bill Belichick, the former defensive coordinator for the Giants. He's now the new man in Cleveland. And the Browns' defense would be tested quickly with the Cowboys' Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith. And would they spoil Belichick's debut? His Browns down 3-0 in the first quarter. Bernie Kosar looking for Brian Brennan. Kenneth Gant gets caught pushing and shoving. Interference is the call. It's 1st and goal, Browns at the 5. 3 plays later, Kevin Mack around the left side, and he just makes it in the corner of the end zone, then gets into a skirmish with the Cowboys' Derek Brownlow, who momentarily grabs his face mask. The Big Mac attack Enzo, and it's 7-3 Browns in the first quarter. Jimmy Johnson a little bit concerned, and he had no reason to be because his quarterback put on an air show today. The ball belonged to Troy Aikman. He was red hot in the first half, finding Michael Irvin for a 17-yard gain over the middle. Then Jay Novacek with a tremendous catch for a 19-yard gain. And then it's Irvin again on the sideline for a gain of 12. Aikman completed 10 of his first 12 passes, TJ.
He has matured so quickly as a quarterback. Here you see him glance to his right, come off of a receiver, come back to his left, step up in the pocket. He has a great arm. He has great courage.
Cowboys drive to the Cleveland 2. Aikman, look at that tremendous play fake. Finds Novacek for the score. It's 13-7, Dallas in the lead. Then just before the half, Aikman just flings it under pressure to Irvin, who makes the catch. 27 Cowboys at the half. Aikman 24 of 37 for 274 yards, and he wasn't intercepted once. 2 touchdown tosses. Belichick not the only new face in Cleveland. 20 new faces, including former Giant Joe Morris, rookie James Jones, Ernie Logan, just picked off of waivers this week, but it was the old faces that brought Cleveland back. First play of the second half, Bernie Kosar. For Webster Slaughter, he's wide open. The play goes for 62 yards. Browns are back within 6. It's a 20-14 ball game. The Cowboys, they just had too much. Emmitt Smith, a big day. 32 carries for 112 yards, tying the Cowboys' record for most carries in a game. And then without 5 players in the Browns secondary, like rookie Eric Turner, 15-year vet Raven Claiborne, who injured his right ankle today, the Cowboys' passing attack was just too much as well. Second half looked like the first. Aikman to Novacek, another fine catch. Then again to Michael Irvin. Irvin with 9 catches for 123 yards. Pretty good day for the team of Aikman to Irvin. Cowboys win by a final of 26-14. And so the Cowboys improved their NFL best record in openers to 24-7-1. The Browns were held to under 300 yards for a total offense. The 7th straight regular season game, the Cowboys defense has done that.
And McMahon says, hey, forget that Randall's not here. I can run just as well as he can. And, you know, not bad. McMahon does his Randall imitation, gets a good block, and he weaves for 14 yards. A couple plays later, McMahon to Fred Barnett. He caught 7 today for 111 yards at the 7-0 Eagle touchdown. Jimmy Mack, the Eagles, Rich Kotite, looking very smooth. Second quarter with the 10-0 lead. Kotite calls for McMahon to hit Barnett again. He does it down to the 1-yard line. 45-yard play. Robert Drummond with a touchdown. 17-0 very quickly, Philadelphia. Meanwhile, Troy Aikman has looked so good for a couple of weeks. Completed 7 passes in the first half. This one to Jay Novacek for 4. This one to Kelvin Martin for 28. This one to Novacek for a dozen. And this one to Novacek for 13. And the owner, Jerry Jones, says, hey, I'm all happy about this, but I did say 7 passes, didn't I, in the first half? I did. Rich Miano catches 1. Problem, he plays for the Eagles. Seth Joyner catches 1. Problem, he plays for the Eagles. Rich Miano catches 2. Problem, he plays for the Eagles. Aikman in the first half, 4 of 10, 3 picks. It's going to be a tough day, but you can't blame Troy Aikman. And if Jerry Jones looks at the game, Jimmy Johnson looks at the game, they know why. Because defense, defense, defense. This is what Troy Aikman saw all day long. Big Jerome Brown. Sit down, son. Clyde the Glide Simmons. Sit down, son. Big Jerome again. Have a seat. Clyde Simmons. and Mike Golick combined. Some of the offensive line's fault, but others?
Yeah, if you watch Reggie right here circled, he gets the big push on big Nate Newton, who outweighs him by 50 pounds, pushes him right back on Aikman. But all of the sacks were not the line's fault. Here, Aikman gets pretty good blocking, but as he waltzes out of the pocket to his right, or to his left, he runs right into the arms of Clyde Simmons for sack number 6.
Could he take more pain? Yes. Simmons blindsides him. Again, it's Clyde the Glide. Jimmy Johnson can't believe his eyes. What do you think Troy Aikman was feeling? Simmons 4.5 sacks today, a new Eagles record. That's a team with Reggie White. The beat goes on. It didn't stop at 8 sacks. They wanted 9 sacks. They smell double figures. And Reggie White gets in the act. Could it be 11? Oh, yeah. Mike Pitts forces the fumble. Reggie White, the Eagles, they try and scoop it. They do it better than anybody. They recovered Simmons' laterals at any rate. Even when he wasn't sacked, Troy Aikman paid for it. Seth Joyner says hello to him. When the carnage was over, the Cowboys learned a lesson. They're a very good team, but they played up against an inspired defense. The Eagles winning at 24-0. An Eagle defense that realized, well, we're not going to score as much as we used to with Randall in there, and so we got to take things into our own hands. They did that, and they were impressive, 24-0. Last 6 times. This is a pivotal game for both, but especially the Super Bowl champs. If they lost, they go 2-3, and a big ball game for both Ray Handley, the rookie coach, and Jeff Hostetler, his starting quarterback. But Dallas has a pretty good quarterback, too, named Troy Aikman. Giants can hit. We know that. Aikman to the rookie Alvin Harper, nailed by the former Cowboy Everson Walls.
And Alvin Harper proves he's a pretty tough receiver, running that pattern, knowing that he's going to get hit. He holds on to the football.
Aikman to another youngster, Michael Irvin. Irvin first gets hit by Walls. He gets around, but look what happened at that. And Walls, he recovers for the Giants, who sidestep a Dallas bullet. What about the Giant offense? Jeff Hostetler on fire to Dave Meggett, and look at that little Meggett run. He runs for 20 yards, and the Giants are moving the ball. Then Haas to number 85, Stephen Baker, makes the quick turn and then runs backwards, so it ends up being an 11-yard pickup. The Haas out of the shotgun. And look at that little Meggett run. Dave Meggett catches it for a 12-yard pickup. The Haas in the first half, 13 of 16 for a $147. He is throwing often, but the Giants aren't scoring often. Deep in the red zone, Lewis Tillman. It's a boo-boo. Larry Brown, what, he changed coaching jobs again? No, this is the Cowboys secondary, man. He makes the fumble recovery at the 1-yard line. Cowboys in offense, if you've got this guy in the backfield, you might as well go to him. Number 22, Emmitt Smith, runs for 2. It's a touchdown. The Giants moving it through the air, but the Cowboys lead at 7-3 at the half. Second half, Giants on offense, first play from scrimmage. The number 1 draft pick, the big fullback, Jared Bunch, catches the ball from Hostetler. It's stripped by Ray Horton, who hears a who. He picks it up, and he hears a touchdown. 21 yards, and the Cowboys beating the Giants 21-3. Giants offense fumbled only 9 times all last year. Already through 5 weeks, 7. That's not Giants football. Giants try it again. Hoff. Mark Ingram, it's 13 yards. And the Giants trying to get out of the shadow of their own goal line. Hostetler. The bomb. Mark Ingram as he beats Isaac Holt. The longest pass play of the year for the Dreamers. Giants have trouble scoring again. The 3rd and 1 of the 6th. Rodney Hampton, forget it. Jeff Coat and Ken Norton Jr. hits her right to the face and a left to the jaw, just like his daddy would have done. Settled for a field goal. It's 14-6. Dallas. Giants offensive line trying to get it going. Late 3rd. Hoff. Stephen Baker. 15 yards over the midfield stripe. Same drive, it changed directions because it's the 4th quarter. Hostetler zips it to Stephen Baker down to the 26-yard line. 3rd and 1 at the 3. O.J. Anderson, not even all reliable, can get in there. He is stopped. 4th and 1, Ray Handley says, well, we're going to try and draw them offside. Didn't work for a delay, so they get penalized for a delay of game. That was his strategy. They sent Barr on, who's been automatic this year. They have over 350 yards of offense, but they still trail 14-9. Meanwhile, scary moment, Lawrence Taylor, obvious pain, fortunate. X-rays of his left wrist were negative. 4th quarter, first play of a drive for the Giants. Haas to Mark Ingram, 41 yards, beats Holt again. Holt backing up.
Well, Holt plays a little bit off the receiver here, a little bit too far off, prevent the completed pass.
And Haas to Stephen Baker. He zips it for 19 yards and touchdown. Did the ball bounce in front of Larry Brown? He thinks so. But after further review, we're going to let it go. And it's 16-14, Giants with a gamble to kick the field goal, then go for the touch later. Pays off for Ray Handley. But look at Troy Aikman. They couldn't do this a couple years ago, could the Cowboys? But Aikman to Irvin, 32 yards. Harry Williams is beaten on the play. Aikman to Irvin. Mark Collins first gets beat, then gets dished. Touchdown, 2:13 to go. 21-16, Dallas. Well, here come the Giants. Another good-looking rookie, Ed McCaffrey from Stanford, makes the catch before he's upended by Ray Horton. A minute to go. Toss. Looking for Baker in the end zone. It's a good toss. But Isaac Holt has him covered perfectly. It's the INT. So despite a day passing of 368 yards, only 6 incompletions in 34 attempts, it's Aikman and the Cowboys that stand taller than the Giants. They're the ones 3-2. The Giants are 2-3, and Dallas wins a very good football game in Big D, 21-16. Tommy, for whatever reason, you want to blame someone 2-3 or blame a few people for whatever reason, 2-3, not good for the Giants.
No, not good at all, Chris. And you look at those statistics, those passing stats. Obviously, this game not Hostetler's fault. But I think what the Giants have an obvious problem with is turnovers. And when you turn that ball over in the red zone, you're not going to win very many football games. And talking to Coach Ray Handley a couple of weeks ago, he said, I've got to get Hampton, Tillman, Bunch more involved in the offense. But I think when you get in that red zone, you've got to go to old reliable O.J. Anderson. Last year, 225 carries, only 1 fumble. That's what they need in that red zone.
Well, if the Giants now see Washington beat Philadelphia Monday night, if that happens, Giants will be behind by 3 games,
Big
5
game.
games in.
Today's football ticket. I got tickets to the Cowboys. I got 30-yard line ones, lower level, Section 8.
How much you want for it?
$40 a piece.
Tight.
Ah, come on, they're good tickets.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
A $40 ticket used to be a bargain for a New York Giant game, but that was then. This is now. Last Sunday in Dallas, the Super Bowl champs continued their reversal of fortune by consistently coughing up the football in all the wrong places.
And the Giants start at the 8, bootleg by Hostetler, play fake, throws it out to Jared Bunch, the rookie at the 20. Fumble! Horton picks it up, 15, 10, Horton, touchdown Cowboys!
Fortunately for New York, the strange sort of voodoo magic that jinxed their ball carriers had little effect on their quarterback. Jeff Hostetler hit on 28 of 34 passes, producing 368 aerial yards for an offense that had been criticized as boring. But while the man they call Hoss was having a bonanza in Dallas, the real high noon hero of this Texas shootout was a rifle-armed quarterback named Troy. Trailing by 2 in the game's final minutes, the Cowboys drove 84 yards in 8 plays, culminating with an Aikman TD strike to number 88, Michael Irvin.
Second down and about 12 at the Giants' 23. Aikman straight drop, throws right, Irvin at the 5. Irvin fighting Collins, touchdown, Michael Irvin.
The Aikman to Irvin connection proved to be the game winner thanks to some last-second heroics in the end zone by cornerback Isaac Holt.
Here's second down. Hostetler back to throw. No pressure. Deep to the end zone on the right sideline. The ball's intercepted by Isaac Holt.
With their 21-16 victory, the Cowboys clearly made the point that while the Giants' fortunes are in reverse, their prospects are certainly on the rise.
Good job in there. That's the way to work in there, Robert. Hell of a job. That's the way to hang in there. That's the way to hang in there. Good job, Jack. That's the way to hang in there. Fantastic job by every one of you. And I think that's the whole key, is every one of you, just like what we said before and what we said at halftime. 47 guys believing, 47 guys hanging in there for 4 quarters. Hey, super job, because you could have gotten down, when they got on top of you, and you could have said, oh, here it goes again. But those days are over with. It's not going to be, here it goes again. 4 quarters of football, anything can happen. Hey, only thing I say on this, as excited as we are now, as much as we love it, It only counts one win. It counts one win. Hey, let's enjoy the hell out of this one, and let's get ready for next week.
Into this intriguing game at the Silverdome at 5-2. Top two rushers in the NFC. Emmett Smith for the Cowboys, Barry Sanders for the Detroit Lions. Who would outrun whom? Rodney Peete left the game with an Achilles tendon problem in the Lions' first possession. So that meant that Troy Aikman was at center stage and hits Dave Novacek, the tight end, almost for a touchdown. Melvin Jenkins knocks him down at the 1, but the Cowboys do score at 7-3 against Wayne Fonz. Ken Willis field goal. Mark Spindler playing a big role for this young Lions. Blocks it. William White could go all the way. 55-yard touchdown. Lions special teams give him a 10-7 lead. Pete on the sidelines watching Eric Kramer run the offense. Not Andre Ware's Kramer. Kramer to Willie Green. Color of money as a touchdown. 26 yards, 17-10 Detroit. Aikman will fumble, and again, it's that man. You learned about him from draft day a couple years ago, Mark Spindler. And it sets up a field goal. Lions lead it 20-10. And then Aikman picked off deep by Ray Crockett. He just might go all the way. It's a celebration. Now get in there. Now it's a touchdown. Crockett, 95.5, then a half. It's a touchdown, and the Lions roll the Dallas Cowboys 34-10. So Lions up to 6-2, keeping pace with the Bears atop the NFC Central. Those two teams meet next week. All of Texas, which unlike other years when the Oilers and Cowboys play, wasn't just, okay, who gets bragging rights in the state, because both of these teams, Houston and Dallas, are hunting bigger game in January. They're thinking hard about the playoffs, as well they should. Al Del Greco, new kicker for the Oilers. He would play a role, but early on, the punter in trouble. Greg Montgomery's punt is blocked by Isaac Holt. Robert Williams blocked the punt last week. This time he picks up the block, goes in for a touchdown. And the Dallas special team's doing the job, although a bit illegally.
Yeah, you watch number 51, Eric Fair there. He's tackled by Derek Brownlow, and that's what enables the block kick.
Hey, if it works, why not? So Derek Brownlow says, this time I won't tackle anybody. I'll block a punt myself. 3 blocked punts in 2 games from the fired-up special teams of the Cowboys. They lead at 10-7 late in the first half. Warren Moon. All his great receivers, who's he find? Pat Coleman, free agent. 25-yard pickup, which sets up 52 yards. Al Del Greco. Why did they sign him early on in the year? It's good. And we're tied at 10. They cart off Holt and Nate Newton. Holt, not a lot of room on that cart. Larry Brown, the other corner, is carted off, so instead of passing, Lorenzo White runs at 23-16 Oilers. Dallas' next drive. Troy Aikman sacked by Ray Childress. Eric Williams recovers the football for Dallas. Fortunately for the Cowboys, Mike Saxon punts. And this time the Oilers punt team has a problem on the other end. Watch it hit Steve Jackson, and Billy Bates Motel recovers for the Dallas Cowboys.
This is going to happen sometimes, but I have to wonder what it was that Jackson thought that thud was on his head.
Yeah, follow the ball, son. The next play, you can't advance them up, so they just get the ball. Aikman the dart to Michael Irvin. Boy, do these two quarterbacks, Aikman and Moon, throw the prettiest footballs in the NFL? I think so. We're tied at 23. Moon drives the Oilers downfield after the Irvin touchdown pass, and Drew Hill has it at the 33-yard line. Sets up. Del Greco for the winner, 41-yard. Doink! It's off the upright. And the fans were remembering Ian Hounfield, but that's not fair. Del Greco's had a good game. In the overtime, Dallas drives to the 24, but Emmett Smith, for the first time in 245 times rushing or receiving, fumbles the ball. Bubba McDowell recovers. Not a good day for that man, the NFC leader in rushing going into the game. Then what time was it? It was Moon time. Warren to Low White. And then after he hit Low White, it was time to hit the 7 Dwarfs. Here he hits Curtis Duncan for 11 yards. 2 for 2 on this drive. Then back to Lorenzo White. Then back to one of the Dwarfs, Duncan, for 12 yards. Then back to Drew Hill, 14 yards. He's 5 for 5. Could he make it 6 for 6? Yes, to Pat Coleman. Then back to White for a 3-yard pickup. Then he hits Ernest Gibbons from
Louisville.
Makes a nice catch. 8 for 8 is Moon on the drive. Terrible day. 432 yards, 41 of 56. After a run by White, Moon gives it to him again. Look what happens. Almost loses the football, instead loses his helmet. That hurt, but the Oilers they would take that choice. And now, bring on Del Greco. It's good. Montgomery with the hold, and Houston beats Dallas. 26-23. Al Del Greco. Finally, the Oilers have a place kicker they can trust. Hit 4 field goals. Jack Party, a happy man. As in overtime, the Oilers Up there, mark 8-2. They beat the Cowboys 26-23. Cowboys fall to 6-4 in an entertaining football game, that's for sure. Eagles and the Browns in Cleveland. How far have Jimmy Johnson's Dallas Cowboys actually come? Well, today they'd find out how far they'd come because they're at the Meadowlands. And a win today would make it 2 this season over the defending Super Bowl champion Giants. But the G-men still think it's playoffs. And in the first half, Alexander Wright slides trying to return a kickoff. Adrian White, oh, he jumps on his leg. Amazingly, he's not hurt. Down 3-0, the Cowboys try to start a drive deep in their own territory. Trey Aikman to Emmitt Smith. He fumbles. Third fumble at 2. We referee ruled a fumble. Jimmy Johnson, wait a minute. He never caught the ball.
And, Chris, the rule is that you only have to do one step with the ball, have control, and do something with it to make it a fumble.
Well, that's what they called it. 2 plays later, the Cowboys blitz. Jeff Hostetler. Cowboys think they have it, but a face mask penalty is called against Tony Casillas. Jimmy Johnson already beginning to wonder who else is buried in the Meadowlands under some of the seats. That led to a field goal, and the Giants lead it 6-0. Giants' next drive, Haas from the Dallas 45-yard line finds Stephen Baker, who leaps, and the catch down to the 1. Dallas defense gets tough, though. They've stopped them twice. On 3rd and goal, Haas finds nobody open. And he's down at the 3-yard line, so it's 4th down, right? No! See that flag? Defensive holding called against the Cowboys. Let's have a look.
Yeah, if you watch very closely here, Mo Carthon is blocking Dixon Edwards, but they call holding somehow on Edwards right there.
Jimmy Johnson is not enjoying his afternoon at the Meadowlands, and he can understand why. So the Giants get about 18 shots to get in the end zone. Rodney Hampton capitalizes, 13-3 Giants. 16-9 in the second half. Watch what happens to Mark Ingram as Mickey Pruitt falls into his leg trying to tackle Lewis Tillman. Ingram set out one play, then comes back, gets in motion, and Haas buys some time and finds Mark Ingram. He's back. It's a touchdown. The Giants lead it 22-9. Hostetler, who threw for close to 400 in his first meeting with the Cowboys, is all fired up. Ensuing kickoff. Watch Lewis Tillman bear down on Alexander Wright. Oh, I guess he wanted to tell the Cowboys, you don't win. Not in our place. Not yet. Both teams vying for a playoff spot. Both are now 6-5. Dallas with a murderous schedule down the road next week at Washington. 22-9, it's the Giants. The Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins, 2 long-time rivals. They're starting to throw the undefeated word, the U word, around Washington to describe the Skins. And everybody was saying, well, who might beat them? Philadelphia maybe late in the year, the Giants late in the year. Few mentioned the Cowboys, their arch rivals, as the team that could derail the Redskin Express. RFK Stadium. The Skins 11-0. Joe Gibbs looking to make it a dozen. Jimmy Johnson's club, 3rd straight on the road. Danny Copeland cheering on the crowd, like Aaron Copeland, the composer. Troy Aikman, he composed himself to Alvin Harper. Beat Martin Mayhew for 38 yards. But on Dallas's next drive, it was revenge for Mayhew. He makes the nice interception, and 31 yards, he could go all the way. It's a touchdown. And the Skins are doing it again. They're up 7-0, this time the defense. Michael Irvin went into the game tied with Gary Clark, most yards receiving in the NFL. Great matchup against Pro Bowler Darrell Green. Irvin for 13 yards. Aikman to Irvin in front of Green for 17. And again, Aikman to Irvin. This combination is flying this year. On the ground, Emmitt Smith. Let him go. 32 yards. Forget it. It's a touchdown. We're tied at 7. Jimmy Johnson hair is still in place. He's psyched. Dallas wasn't done. No field goal late in the half. The Hail Mary. It's Alvin Harper. A touchdown from Aikman. 14-7 Dallas. Aikman throws the pretty passes. But a scary start in the second half of the Cowboys. Aikman hit as he releases right leg. This looks bad. Caught under jumpy gathers. Fortunately, it's called a sprained right knee. They play Thanksgiving, which is only a few days. They think he'll be okay. But for this day, it was Steve Berline. And now you know why the Cowboys made the trade to get Berline, a backup who could pick up at least close to where Aikman left off. and it's Burline. And the catch by Michael Irvin. 23 yards, 21-7 Dallas.
Chris, you won't see this many times. Gerald Green being spun around as he was here by Michael Irvin, who makes the juggling catch for a TD.
Michael Irvin, impressive all day. The Washington offense, 107 yards through 3 quarters, and they were getting booed by their home fans. But ripping to Gary Clark, ripping to Arthur Monk on 4th and 10 at the 24. Ripping to the Senator, Ricky Irvin for 13 yards. 2 plays later, Gerald Riggs plows into the end zone, 21-14, a 92-yard drive for the Skins to bring him within a touch. But Dallas turned the tables. They don't have guys the size of Gerald Riggs, but then again, the heart is certainly the size when you talk about Emmitt Smith. 3 third-down plays. There's the second one, and here's the third one, a 3rd and 9. Burline to Irvin for 13 yards, and the Cowboys keeping the drive moving.
Just a physical mismatch with Irvin being so much bigger than Green.
3rd and 7, Emmitt Smith runs for 8. Flag was on the Skins. On 4th down, up 7, Jimmy Johnson says, Willis, get in there. And Ken hooks it in. It's good. And the Cowboys are up by 10. An unbelievable upset. But the Skins weren't done yet. 25 seconds to go. Mark Rippon to Ricky Sanders for a touchdown, 24-21. Watch what he does. Throws the ball at Isaac Holt's head. A stupid move. Penalized 15 yards. Enforced on the kickoff. It turned out to be academic. The onside kick recovered by Darrell Johnston. And Burline, in relief for the Cowboys, beats Joe Gibbs and the Skins, their first loss of what's been a magical season. Remember, Jimmy Johnson won his first game ever at RFK. That was the only game they won a couple of years ago. They'll be talking about this one for a long time. The Cowboys solidify their playoff shots, and the Skins are no longer unbeaten. 9 teams had started the season 11-0 in NFL history. Only 3 of them advanced to 12-0. The 34 Bears, who eventually lost the title game to the Giants in the sneaker game, the 72 Dolphins, who remained perfect, and the 85 Bears, who were beaten on that one Monday night by Miami. Those are the only 3 that made it. The Skins could not. After 3 straight losses, Jim Mora's Saints said, no more losses. We can't stand it. When the NFC West was once in our grasp, now it's falling through our fingers. Enough was enough, they said. Dallas had other ideas. Saints at the Cowboys. Troy Aikman sidelined, but suited up as the emergency quarterback. They wish they still had Steve Walsh, or are they happy with Steve Burline, who cost them a 3rd-round draft pick? While Burline to Michael Irvin for 12 yards. And then he hits Alfredo Roberts, who fettuccines his way down to the 2-yard line. 2 plays later, Burline rolling out. It's Harold Johnston. Nice bullet. Burline, 7 of 9 on the drive. The Cowboys lead the Saints 7-0. 10-0 Dallas in the second quarter. Walsh marches the Saints, and just off IR, Dalton Hilliard. They'll need him if they're to pick it up with the bootstraps. At 3rd and 5, Walsh gets it away early to fittingly Quinn early. Then on 2nd and goal, he may not be able to throw it far, but every now and then he can zip it. Walsh, Eric Martin, touchdown. Dallas lead is down to 10-7. Walsh on the drive, 6 of 7, 49 yards and a touchdown. And Walsh had some problems throwing deep. Larry Brown almost picks it off.
Yes, and as you look at the overhead view of this, Chris, when you know that Walsh has that weakness of arm, those corners should come up a little bit, play a little bit closer. You know he's going to have a hard time getting the ball over your head.
Bobby Hebert, when is he going to be back? The emergency quarterback of the Saints, warming up on the sidelines. And he looked at Fred McAfee with some great blocking on the 10-yard burst.
Yeah, and look at the nice hole that the offensive line opens up here. I think either you or I could get through that hole.
Maybe you. Me, I probably would have been caught at the line of scrimmage. At any rate, that sets up Walsh to the backup host on The Tonight Show. Hobie David Brenner down to the 20-yard line. Then on 3rd and goal, Walsh, an excellent pass to Guy Finnerty. And the Saints, they can upset, leading at the Cowboys 14-13. Then Burline showing some athletic ability. Boy, he stepped right in and showed some poise to Michael Irvin, who shows some of his athletic ability, sets up a Willis field goal. 16-14 Dallas. Jim has seen this before. Mid-4th quarter. Ricky Jackson, no, he can't sack Burline. And then he hits Irvin, who makes the move on newly acquired Mark Lee, number 32. Burline is psyched, and why not? You got to watch Emmitt Smith diss one tackler and pick up 8 yards. And then Emmitt again, down to the 3. And to believe in the game with a sprained knee, but not until he picked up 112 yards. Then remember his heroics in the World Series for the Mets? Tommy Agee from center field into the end zone, 3 yards. And the Cowboys have handed the Saints their 4th straight loss. The Cowboys win it 23-14, and what's worse, the Saints lose yet another defensive back. Vince Buck already hurt. Toys in the attic Cook fractured his arm, so he's now gone. And for the first time all year, the Saints, the great Saints defense, did not register a sack.